Dr. Dan Yachter, the chiropractor. Happy Wednesday, and this is News Views Weekly Updates, and we broadcast this every week, each and every week in our group, our private Facebook group called My Family, My Mission, which is what you're part of right now, and you'll be seeing this in different venues here. It'll be on YouTube and whatnot. We're going to be getting these segments out there across the spectrum. So got a few things we want to talk about today, and several articles that I just posted that I'm going to review that I think are very, very important. So let's go ahead and get these posted in here. Let me go ahead and jump into the articles that I had posted. The first one we're going to go over is a new food pyramid for a metabolically unwell nation. It's estimated that over 80% of folks walking around, 80% of the population, have broken metabolism. And broken meaning that, obviously there's obesity issues, there's a lot of different issues that go along with the problem. But metabolic syndrome usually involves low HDL, high LDL, high triglycerides, high blood pressure, large waist to hip or hip to waist ratio. You also have things like high insulin, high hemoglobin A1C, high glucose. But obesity is a big part of that picture. And the new food pyramid that's being looked at, and this is it's an article I published here. You'll see it in the group, in the private group here. I put the link to the article. But it's talking about how chronic illness has soared in the United States, and a group of doctors and nutritionists, these researchers say it's time to reconsider the American dietary advice, which is really centered upon the food pyramid. We got a lot of grains and a lot of carbohydrates on the bottom of the pyramid, making up the majority of what we should be eating. And then as you go up, meats, dairy, sugars above that. But again, they're talking about how it's important to start rethinking the pyramid. And this is a really good article. I really wanted to bring this up because there's so much confusion when it comes to nutrition. And I've been a nutritionist for over 30 years, along with, of course, primarily being a chiropractor. And I have never seen, I know there's confusion in regards to chiropractic, the profession of chiropractic. But when it comes to nutrition, there is nothing but confusion. And part of the reason why there's so much confusion is that most of the authorities that come out with nutritional recommendations are trying to shift and squeeze everybody into one box. And that's just not possible. Don't eat carbohydrates, eat carbohydrates, low fat, no fat, high fat. There's all kinds of stuff out there, and most of it's ridiculous. And so what they're talking about here, how really it's a good idea, the authorities that are coming out with this low carb ketogenic food pyramid, keeping the carbs low, keeping the fat high, keeping the meats and the dairy high, the eggs high. And I have no problem with dairy, full fat dairy, eggs, meat, healthy fats. I have no problem with that. In fact, I include a lot of it in my own diet. But I think this really has to be looked at well. I think you should, if you have a chance, click on the link there. And I think it's really good to take a look at this pyramid that's been around for a long time. And what they've done is they've flipped it on its head and turned it into a ketogenic, low starch, low carbohydrate, higher fat, higher meat, higher protein type of diet. So my comments on this is the fact that carbohydrates are good. I actually have a very high carbohydrate diet. And a lot of patients are shocked to find that out. Very high in complex carbohydrates. I need carbohydrates. I think the body needs carbohydrates to metabolically move and run for your physiology or neurology. You need sugar. You need carbohydrates, but good carbohydrates. There's a big problem when you're bringing in a lot of refined processed carbohydrates. If you're drinking Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, and refined breads and sugars and candy bars and breads and pastries and things of that nature, you got a problem. It's going to break your metabolic machinery. Also bad fats, refined oils, soy, sunflower, safflower, cottonseed oil, peanut oil, even olive oil. A lot of these oils, seed and nut oils, are refined. They're processed to get them on the shelf and keep them there for a long time to get shelf life out of them. They have to be bleached. They have to be heated. They've got to be refined. They've got to be deodorized. There are deodorized processes, believe it or not, that happen with these oils. And when they go into your body with refined carbohydrates, now you got a mixture or a recipe for disaster. So again, carbohydrates, the right ones, are good. So really what should be extracted from this article is that ketogenic diets are not right for everybody. They are a therapeutic intervention that would work for the majority of Americans for a short amount of time to get the carbohydrates really low to help fix your metabolic machinery. But long term, not a good idea, at least what I've found as 30 years in the clinical trenches as a chiropractor nutritionist. I find that people need carbohydrates long term, but the right kind of carbohydrates, especially if you're very active. Your body needs glucose. Your body needs to work often, and I get it. There are a lot of people who say, well, the ketogenic diet, you can be just fine without the carbohydrates, and you can eat meat, eggs, dairy, fat from, the animal fat. Your body could run just fine for years and years. And sure, there are cultures historically that have done that and done it well, but that's been, over eons of time and adaptation to that. And it was basically forced upon them for a lack of, resources in their environment. But again, my diet, and, this is important if you're not looking for a therapeutic intervention. Number one, you have to find what works best for you. That's first off. Two, if you're looking for weight loss or to fix your body, or you're in a dire clinical scenario, you really need a therapeutic intervention, then a ketogenic diet may really work well for you. But it is important to understand that there is a significant difference amongst carbohydrates. And so, number one, you got to find out what works best for you. For a season, lower carbohydrates may help your body get back into balance, may check your insulin, your blood glucose, and your hemoglobin A1C. If you have issues with that, a low carbohydrate diet for a while may work really well for you. But long term, what I have found is that it's damaging for most people, not all, but as a clinician, I found it's a problem. So again, finding out what works best for you long term. Take a look at this article. I posted it in here in our private group. And to really understand that ketogenic diet, at least what I have found, is a good therapeutic intervention. Short term, long term, not so great. Now, there are patients who say to me, well, ketogenic diet is working really well for me. I've been on it for years. It's a great thing, and I'm very happy with it. Great. Those patients are few and far between. What I have found is the longer they stay on something like that, most patients, the worse they get. Initially, you can get a lot of weight off your body, make your blood markers look really great. But long term, I feel the body needs carbohydrates, but good carbohydrates, whole grains, beans, unrefined rices, basmati, jasmine rices, sweet potatoes. These are good carbohydrates. And for me, a lot of patients, again, ask me regularly, like, what does your diet look like? It's varied. My diet is varied. I eat meat. I don't eat a lot of it. Some fish every now and then. Probably 80-90% plant-based. Plant-based, you could also include fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, seeds. Plant-based. I'm not a vegan. I have dairy in there. I have yogurt. I have eggs. I'll have a piece of red meat every now and then. I don't eat a lot of it, but I'm not against it. I'll have it if my body tells me I need it. But again, for the most part, I am very high plant-based, and every night I have a lot of carbs for dinner. I have a lot of starchy carbohydrates, and my body can handle, my metabolic machinery can handle it. If the metabolic machinery is broken, you have metabolic syndrome, which I mentioned earlier, the factors that qualify you to have metabolic syndrome, then again, you got to get the metabolic machinery fixed. Lifestyle is the only long-range fix. Once it's fixed, then you can really start bringing in the healthier carbohydrates, but you may, for a time being, you may want to do the ketogenic diet. It's probably the best therapeutic intervention to fix a broken metabolism, but long-term, once your metabolic machinery is working well, you need to feed it carbohydrates. At night, last night I had beans and rice and a tortilla, and all healthy, like organic, varieties of these foods, but I have them. My body is powered by a high complex carbohydrate diet, primarily plant-based. And again, it works well for me. You got to get that dialed in. Each person's got to dial it in specifically. Now, the other consideration is looking at these foods. If you go keto and you're bringing a lot of dairy in, you're bringing high fat, you're bringing more meat in, you're bringing eggs in. The other consideration is you have to understand if those foods are good for you or not. You may do a food allergy test. You may be reacting against those foods. What I rarely see is with people on plant-based diets, on food that there's a food allergy issue. Typically it comes from the dairy or the eggs and other things of that nature. So understanding food allergy profile is critical to really dial in the diet that's best for you. GI mapping, looking at your gut to see what type of things are going on in your gut, what type of foods are best for you or not. Testing is crucial. And if you're really going to dial in and get precision based with your diet long term, you must do GI mapping. You must do food allergy testing, in my opinion, my clinical opinion. So that's another major factor in, again, long-term dialing in what's best for you diet-wise. And the other article that I have here, moving on, is common painkillers linked to lower dementia risk. Wow, that's a great headline right there. That's a great title of that article. Anti-inflammatory pain relievers may help reduce dementia risk. Who would not want to reduce dementia risk? But experts stress that other preventive strategies should also be considered. So this study, the researchers published it out of Rotterdam, Netherlands, and they showed that 81% of these people they follow, this is published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society, that there was a 12% lower risk of developing dementia compared to non-users of NSAIDs. Use of NSAIDs was associated with lower dementia risk for long-term users. They gathered up this information from the pharmacies. Conversely, if you only used NSAIDs for a short amount of time or an intermediate term, NSAID users faced a slight increase in dementia. So you read that, you're like, wow, that's pretty cool stuff. Ibuprofen, indomethacin, Soludindac. I mean, some of these you may have heard of or not, but what they showed is they reduced the production of amyloid beta 42, a specific form of amyloid beta protein or plaques that show up in the brain, which have been associated, not caused, that have been associated in the development of Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. Other NSAIDs have not been shown to lower production of amyloid beta 42, which include naproxen and a whole other class, celecoxib. I mean, some of these NSAIDs, you can't even pronounce the name. They're just a word salad here. But nonetheless, the study showed, again, they studied 12,000 dementia-free people aged 45 and older at baseline, and they showed a decrease. But again, the prolonged use also comes with other health risks. So you may reduce dementia, but now it comes with stomach ulcers, GI bleeding, heart attack, stroke. It's a good article to read right here. Kidney damage and increased blood pressure. Okay. So it's important to go through these articles. You got and that's the problem with all pharmaceuticals. And again, I'm not necessarily anti-pharmaceutical short term because it could save your life, but long-term usage always comes with, I call it robbing from Peter to pay Paul. There's always something that may be given to you or some benefit conferred to you with a pharmaceutical drug, but long-term, it's all going to be taken back away from you in the way of side effects, and usually multiple side effects like I'm talking about right now. So again, the alternative approaches are the fact that lifestyle is way more powerful to reduce your risk of dementia than taking NSAIDs. So again, they showed a 12% lower risk of developing dementia, but the alternative approaches like things like curcumin, EPA, fish oil, nattokinase, proteases, and other lifestyle interventions, exercise, sauna. I mean, you can just go down the line in regards to vitamin D, maintaining adequate levels of vitamin D, maintaining blood glucose at normal levels, A1C at normal levels. So when you're doing these things, you're conferred a much greater decrease in dementia risk than 12%. And so, again, lifestyle always trumps drugs, short, long term, and again, without the side effects. So really good, important article there. And then, of course, some fun stuff to look at. There's a couple here, 101 and 105 break the world record for the longest marriage. 84 years of happy love. So just a fun article that I wanted to throw into the mix here. And I posted the link, and they talk about how they pray together every day. And it's just a wonderful article to read. They have, my gosh, they raised 13 children. They got married in 1940. 84 years of marriage. They have 55 grandchildren, 60 great-grandchildren, and 14 great-great-grandchildren. You do the math on that, that's a lot right there. That's a lot of kids. You got 115, add another 14 there, you got 130. So they got about 150, basically offspring, that are most of them are alive right now. That's incredible. That legacy that they have established, just amazing, joyful looking, just a fun article to read, and prayer at the center of it, God at the center of it, faith at the center of it, and that faith conferring joy and steadfastness, faithfulness, and longevity. So a wonderful article to dig into there, and hope you enjoyed what I brought you today. And we have a very special masterclass coming up. It's coming up Tuesday, the 22nd of April. That's this Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. at the office. Cancer Prevention Masterclass. I've been teaching this for almost 30 years. As I always tell patients, do not wait until you've been given a cancer diagnosis. Come, attend, make the time, get here, be here. It's going to be a powerful masterclass. And what it always centers on are the basics, the fundamentals, lifestyle fundamentals. You can't ever get away from the fundamentals. Every patient, and almost all of them are new patients over the history of my 30 years in clinical practice, who come in, who've been told they've been given a recent cancer diagnosis. They've been told that they have cancer raging in their bodies. Almost every one of them have a discussion with their oncologist about a study. There's a new drug. There's an experimental study going on right now. This is kind of the conversation they have. We are recommending that you enroll in this new study, seeing this promising cancer drug, what it can do. There's a really good chance it's going to work. We want to put you in the study. You may get accepted into the study to see if this drug, it's already shown promise, but we're going to try to see if you can get accepted into the study, because it's your best shot at beating the cancer. And what I say is that there's no drug that's ever been made, this is scientifically proven, or will ever be made, that can trump lifestyle changes if you're willing to implement them. There's nothing out there that when you stack lifestyle activities that can ever come close to the percentage reduction in your cancer risk. Lifestyle is the only thing that can truly work for you long term. Even if you burn it out of your body, you radiate it, chemo it, cut it out, whatever you do, whatever your decision is cancer-wise, if you've been given that diagnosis, at the end of the day, you still have to address lifestyle, because if you don't, the same lifestyle that created the cancer environment and the spread of it will cause it to come back and spread even faster. So at the end of the day, you always have to address lifestyle when it comes to cancer, any disease, or any inflammatory process going on in the body. And that's what we're going to talk about at the masterclass. And again, lifestyle is the most powerful way to address cancer risk. The most powerful cure for cancer is simply not getting it. The most powerful cure of it and the way to reverse it and get your body working properly, it's lifestyle. And there are a lot of different things we're going to talk about. If you look at any professional athlete in any professional sport, even in college, a collegiate athlete, a high school athlete, a little league athlete, okay? What do they do every week? Go watch a professional team. Go watch a professional baseball team or professional football team. What do they do? Every day, every week, every month, every year. What are they doing? They're training on the fundamentals. That's all they do. Go watch a baseball game, a professional baseball game, and they're out there, the same exact drills they did when they were in elementary school as an athlete, they're still doing as a professional. They're focusing on the basics. They're catching, they're throwing, they're running, they're fielding. I mean, it's the same, they're batting. It's the same exact stuff that they've always done. They never move away from the fundamentals, the basic principles of that sport. They never move away from it. And it applies the same to health. You can't escape the fundamentals. If they try to do new trick plays, it never works for them. Professionals know that they have to train on the basics every day. And that's exactly what you're going to get. Nothing fancy, nothing sexy. At my master classes, you're going to basically see there's nothing new under the sun, except that the master classes are incredibly informative because they put them right there in front of you. They give you the science behind the basics and the foundational stuff you should be doing, the lifestyle protocols, and you just got to do them. You got to do them consistently. The most famous football coach to ever live, Vince Lombardi. This is why they named the NFL championship trophy after him, the Vince Lombardi Trophy, which is given every year to the winner of the Super Bowl. And he took the losers, the Green Bay Packers, a horrible team. He took them over in 1959, and he said to them, here's what we're going to do. We are going to win. He didn't change the staff. He didn't change the plays. He didn't change the players. He didn't change anything. He said, all we're going to do is get brilliant on the basics, the fundamentals. And we're going to train so hard on them, and we're going to get so good at them that the other team is going to know the exact plays that we're going to run, where we're going to run into, which side of the field we're going to run into. They're going to know our playbook. They're going to have our playbook, but they're not going to be able to stop us because we're going to get so good at the basics and run the plays so well that no team's going to stop us. And that's exactly what he did. And for the next 7 years, he won 5 Super Bowls, and they never had a losing season again. He's legendary. They named the championship trophy after him. And that's how we roll in this office. We get brilliant on the basics. We don't try to grasp for straws and say, like, look for shiny metal objects in the media and say, oh, there's a report that says NSAIDs lower your risk of dementia by 12, 13, 14, 15%. I was right along. I'm going to ramp up my usage of NSAIDs. Or you're looking for the next big breakthrough. It's not going to happen. That's not how it works. And the next chemotherapy trial that they're going to put you into. That's not how it works. There are no quick fixes. There's only getting brilliant on the basics. And that's what we do at these master classes. Again, it's not sexy. It's not sensational, but it's got to be done. And you have to keep digging down. My patients keep coming month after month to get brilliant on the basics. Just like Aaron Judge today, he's doing the same exact batting drills as the all-time best batter probably in the world who's ever lived. He's doing the same thing today that he did yesterday. Same exact batting drills, same exact fielding drills. It doesn't change for all of them, all the professional athletes. And that's what our patients do. That's what we do for the community. The master classes are where we come together only once per month to train on the basics and get brilliant on the basics, brilliant on the fundamentals. So dial it in on your calendar. April 22nd, this upcoming Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Cancer prevention. Please come. And if you're an active patient, bring people with you because this knowledge is life-saving, health-transforming, and life-saving. Thanks for joining me. Dr. Dan Yachter signing off for our Facebook group, My Family, My Mission. Everybody have a great Wednesday. God bless.